All right, class, we're about to move on with the lesson, so let's focus. So, who can let us know what's happening for today? What is the lesson that we're focusing on today? How can we figure that out? Isabel.
About sound waves?
How do you know that today is going to be about sound waves?
Prompt.
The prompt, that's one way to tell, but there's a more specific way to tell. Besides the prompt in our assignment that we have in our hand. Adrian.
The stuff on the board.
Exactly. What is the stuff on the board? What does it say? Our success criteria. So Adrian, can you read our success criteria for us?
Explain that sound energy is transferred from place to place.
So pretty much we need to figure out how sound energy is transferred from one place to another place. But before we start to figure this out, before we start to investigate this question, let's break down our driving question. So our driving question asks us, what evidence shows that sound energy is transferred from one place to another? We're just going to dissect this sentence so we can better understand what this question is really asking out of us, right? So let's break down some of these words. So for one, what is energy? Does anybody remember the definition of energy? Jael. It may help to think of examples of what energy is, or what it looks like, how to observe energy. So how do we identify energy anywhere around us? Kiara. I like that you're bringing up types of energy or forms of energy, but how can we observe energy being used?
Well,
What is it?
energy is around.
Exactly. So like Ivana said, energy is anything that is causing movement or change. If you guys look it up and say Google, it'll say something like energy is the ability to do work, right? And we know that when we're doing work, we're performing some type of movement or causing some type of changes to happen, right? So this is what energy is, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah, our body always
Our body is always using energy, right?
It keeps the heart beating.
Our heart beating, us moving from place to place, speaking, thinking. What's going on?
Well, if we would lose that energy, wouldn't we get it back?
Well, how do we know that we're losing too much energy? What does our body do as a sign of us losing too much energy, John?
Oh, or we get tired or we slow down.
We get tired, we slow down, our stomachs start to growl, right? And it tells us that we need to eat to get more energy, right? So, let's break down this question even more. So number 2, what is sound? I know that it was a part of our writing prompts. Can anyone try to pretty much summarize what sound means now? I know this is our first time actually looking at that word specifically. Exactly. So it's vibrations that we can actually hear, that can penetrate our eardrums and we can hear. It's actually vibrations. It's waves, right? Yeah. Exactly. So it's sound vibrations that can enter our eardrum and we can perceive of, that noise, that sound.
And if it's high enough, it could also break them.
If it's high enough, it can damage us. That's true. All right. So what about this word transferred? Does anyone know what transferred means? There's something on the board that can help you with it. Jael.
I think transforming is that it switches to a different thing.
I think that's good enough. He says that it switches from a different thing. If you guys look on this board over here, I wrote the prefix of transfer, which is trans, right? So what trans means, first of all, what prefix means is the beginning portion of any word, right? So this is the prefix, pre, meaning before, right? The prefix of transferring is trans. And what trans means is to go across, to go through, or to go beyond. So just like Jael said, transferring is to change to something else, right? What was the example you gave? What is the definition you gave? Transferring? Yeah, that you just gave me for what does transferring means. So it changes from one thing to another thing, right? That's an excellent definition.
Or-
Can we think of any other words that starts with the prefix trans?
Transport.
Translate.
Translate. What does translate mean?
Like somebody speaking a different language, and then like you can transfer it.
Right. You can. So it's taking one language and pretty much changing it to a different language. The equal meaning in a different language, right? So it's going. It's pretty much changing something, right? What's another trans word?
Transport.
Transformation. What does transformation mean?
It means like you can move like to different places.
You can turn.
Transformation.
Oh.
I think you're thinking transportation.
Oh.
You can turn
What is
into.
transformation?
You could turn it.
You can turn into different things.
And
Like
you change it into a different thing, right? When something transforms, it goes from one thing and it transforms to another thing. I know that a lot of you guys use Pokemon cards, and these Pokemon cards have different stages. They're transforming from one stage of a Pokemon to an evolved stage. That's transforming, right? Going from one state to another state, right? And what is one more trans word? Transition? What does transitioning mean?
you switch to different like scenes.
Right, so transitioning to a different scene, that means going from one scene to another scene. Transitioning blocks, like going from this class to another class. So it's pretty much the idea is to like change, right? To go through something, to travel, right? So when we're looking at our driving question, what evidence shows that sound energy is transferred from one place to another? It's pretty much sound that is going from one state, and it has to be able to travel through, across, and end up in another place, right? So it's pretty much sound going from one place to another place, whether it's going through something or across something. So with that in mind, we're going to be doing an activity sheet. If everyone can look at this activity sheet, it's lesson 6 check. If you look at this activity sheet, you'll see that there's a cup, a sticky note, and a person that looks like he's tapping that cup to create a sound. We're gonna try to replicate what's on this activity sheet to try to prove whether or not sound energy can actually transfer from one place to another. So at the front of the class right now, I'm just gonna do a quick setup for what I expect everyone to do with our materials. So I'm just gonna grab a cup, a sticky note, and I'm just gonna try to replicate what they have on our activity sheet. So everyone, if you want to get closer, those of you in the back area, you're welcome to come closer to see how I set up this activity. So what we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna pass each person a sticky note and a cup. With our sticky note, what we're gonna be doing is, we're gonna try to place the sticky side of our note to our desk and have the non-sticky part of it just facing up. And it's gonna almost form like an L sort of position, with the sticky part flat on the surface. So I'm gonna place the sticky part flat on the surface, and then I'm gonna take a cup, just like they have on our activity sheet, and I'm gonna point the open end of the cup towards the flappy part of our sticky note, and I'm just gonna flick the closed end and see if the sound that I create actually causes a change on our sticky note. Nope, I'll just do it with this. Do you guys see the sticky note moving?
Yeah.
I'm not touching the sticky note in any way. All I'm doing is flicking this cup, and the sound waves that are coming from this cup is actually causing that sticky note to move.
Have you ever
John.
tried to use energy, like sound energy to use it, like
So I'm gonna pass around these same materials so that you guys can see for yourselves that sound can actually transfer from one object to another, okay?
I lost my ankles at the bus.